Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off our discussion right away, let me welcome my guest, Dr. Khaled Abu Zeid, the Regional Water Director at Sidari and the Regional Director of Programs at the Arab Water Council. Dr. Abu Zeid, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Doctor, first of all, Egypt is cooperating with Tanzania on constructing the Julius Nyerere Dam, along with the hydroelectric power station. First of all, what is the importance of Egypt cooperating with Tanzania building this dam?
Well, this cooperation shows that Egypt is supporting its sister African countries and is keen on the development of the African nations, and through this project also showing that Egypt is not against any construction of dams or any water development projects in Africa or even in the Nile Basin, as long as they do not cause any harm on other riparian countries or neighboring countries. Of course, this particular dam, which is the Julius Nyerere Dam, is not on the Nile River itself or its tributaries. It's in a different river basin. Mm-hmm. But still, this dam has no impacts on any neighboring countries, and that's why also the Egyptian contractors that are constructing these dams and the companies that are working on constructing this dam are doing it and working on it with no objections or international objections. Not like other projects that contractors are involved in, whether they have environmental impacts or socioeconomic impacts or not. Mm-hmm. Of course, this is an ethical principle where contractors have to follow the international law, and they have to follow the rules and regulations, not only at the national level but also at the international level, mm-hmm. where major projects have to undergo environmental impact assessment before construction. They have to go through the socio-economic impacts, the hydrological impacts on the countries downstream or the neighboring countries, or even the people of the same country where the dam or the structure is being built.
Yes.
And this project shows this kind of ethical principles that are being followed, and also shows that, again, Egypt is keen on the development of Africa and the other African countries, especially in the Nile Basin countries.
Yes. Well, before we start talking about how Egypt benefits from such cooperation, how will Tanzania actually benefit from the construction of this dam? Basically, any dam really regulates the flow of the water, prevents floods, and also it will help generate energy and electricity. How can this really affect Tanzania as a country and an economy?
Well, of course, this dam is mainly for hydropower generation, electricity generation, and it will benefit Tanzania in that sense. And also it will act as a water flood protection mm-hmm.
Structure.
As you mentioned, it protects against the floods in the flooding season, so it prevents flooding of the neighboring areas around the river itself, and also stores water. The storage capacity of this dam is about 34 billion cubic meters. This water will help in generating hydropower, but it will also act as storage for water supply for the communities in the region, for drinking water and possibly agriculture, irrigated agriculture as well. Mm-hmm. It's a multi-purpose dam, if we would say, where it has more than one aspect of benefits.
Yes. Well, talking about how Egypt benefits from such a cooperation, you've mentioned that it would show that Egypt is not against building dams, and it's really for the development projects within the other sisterly African nations. Does it have any other benefits? I mean, and that benefit on its own, this sort of showing of a sign of goodwill of Egypt among its African neighbors, how much will that resonate on the international community as well?
Well, of course, Egypt will not benefit directly from the dam itself, but it's just it shows goodwill, as you mentioned, and this is important. There has been some negative propaganda against Egypt, saying that it's against the development of the other African countries and the other Nile Basin countries. Of course, that's not the case, and this project shows this, and that whenever there is an objection to a specific project, or the way a specific project is being built within the Nile Basin, it is mainly for a reason, because it would probably affect the livelihood of Egypt itself or any other country within the basin itself, and most probably downstream countries of that particular structure. So this shows the goodwill, and it shows again the cooperation nature of Egypt's relationships with the neighboring countries in Africa and in the world.
Well, this project also includes the construction of 4 supplementary dams. Now, Egypt really taking part in the establishment of all these dams, the hydroelectric power stations. Does this also constitute some sort of an exercise, really, or a manifestation of Egypt's expertise and skills in maybe building future dams for Egypt as well?
Well, the potential for additional dams for Egypt within Egypt is not really
essential
there, because we can talk about Egypt building flood protection structures, which are not really considered big dams, but they are small structures that are in small floodplains, where seasonal flooding occurs, for instance, in the coastal areas of the Red Sea, in the mountains of Sinai. These are very occasional floods that come every several years. They are not a permanent type of floods, or they are not rivers that you can construct dams on and make use of for any other potential reason. But they can help, of course. So the potential for building dams within Egypt, we don't have. So we only have one river, which is the Nile River, and there is already one main dam, which is the highest one dam, which is controlling the water and managing the water of the Nile River in Egypt. There are other regulators and barrages. They are not really considered dams that regulate the flows, but that expertise is going to be important for helping other countries in Africa to also, if they need such type of structures or dams, Egypt would be able to help with that. And in addition to those flood control structures, which are mainly for flood protection in the floodplains of where seasonal rainfall comes, but they could also be used for water supply, but in very, very small amounts and occasional
Yes.
times, not every year water supply, of course.
Well, sir, if we're cooperating with Tanzania in building the Julius Nyerere Dam, will this also help create more agricultural lands in Tanzania and maybe help the formation of new lakes in Tanzania as a result of building this dam and controlling the water flow of it?
Well, of course, this dam, there's the main dam, and there are like 4 supporting dams to help store the water, and so that the water that's stored does not escape through other lowlands or floodplains. This will create the reservoir behind the dam to store that water, and that water is going to be used for mainly for hydropower, but some of it could be used also for irrigation, for agriculture. In addition to also the potential for fishing and the creation of this reservoir would be also a potential for the generation of the fishing potential in the country as well. So the lake with available water for irrigation and for fishing is going to be an additional benefit, of course, from that dam.
Yes. Well, you've said that Egypt doesn't really have the necessity or the need to have more dams, but
doesn't have the water resources.
The water is it only has one river.
Dams.
Yes,
just one river,
but we might need more supply and more distribution of water around
supply.
Egypt. Yes,
Yeah.
because we're embarking on having a new delta in the northwestern part of the country. That's almost 1 million for dams. Also, really trying to expand the cultivated and agricultural area, and the new cities as well being established in different parts of the country, making use of the land around on the sides of the banks of the Nile River. So, can we actually make use of our cooperation with Tanzania, knowing how things can work, or do we already have a set plan to expand and find a way to supply enough water for the irrigation of the rest of the Egyptian land?
Well, the limiting factor for development in Egypt is actually water. If you look at a satellite image of the country, you would see the Nile Valley with the greenery in a very thin, narrow corridor around the Nile and the delta. And that represents about maybe 5% of the Egyptian land.
Yes.
The rest of the area is desert. And that's mainly because of the lack of water resources. We only have one river, and it's it's been exploited for the past tens of years because the needs are more than the water resources that are available from the Nile. That's why Egypt has resorted, you're talking about the new delta. The new delta is mainly going to be dependent on recycled water, reused agriculture drainage, reused treated wastewater. And that's what Egypt is concentrating on. And this is another area of expertise that Egypt could actually also help other countries with. The technology of treatment and recycling of water, which Egypt is now expanding on. Of course, some of the African countries have abundance of water, so of fresh water, where they might not need to recycle their water, but at least they still need to treat their wastewater and treat their drainage and all that. And And this kind of expertise is important for many other countries. Desalination also.
Yes.
Now Egypt is getting into large desalination, but desalination is also limited to the coastal areas, and it is very, very expensive to depend in agriculture, for instance, on desalination. So, but it's useful for urban development and urbanization in the coastal areas where you don't have to convey the water for long distances. And the treatment of agriculture drainage now, this is also another new area, not just treatment of wastewater and recycling it, but treatment and recycling of agriculture drainage water, which is mixed sometimes with industrial water, and this is also a new area that Egypt is working on, to be able to compensate for the lack of water resources. On top of all this, Egypt has to export a lot of food to satisfy the increasing demand. If we translate the imported food to what we call virtual water, it's almost 50 billion cubic meters per year. So it's almost like how much Egypt is using from the Nile.
Yes.
Egypt has to also export water through food products, in addition to the efforts that are being exerted to also increase food production locally through agriculture on recycled water.
Yes.
So this is some kind of expertise which is very important, not only to Egypt but also to Africa, and especially to African countries or any other countries that do not have a lot of freshwater resources and will depend or will have to depend on recycled water in the future.
Yes.
And desalination as well.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Egypt is showing a lot of cooperation and goodwill building the dam in Tanzania. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.